Hey folks, this is Chris with Oregon Figs. It is the first day of April 2025. This is my initial walkthrough for the year. We'll take a look for Breba. I'll try to point out the trees that spent their first winter in ground and we'll see how they did. This row we'll start with is my newest row. All of these trees went in ground in 2024. And let's just look for Breba. Let's look for tip death. I'm seeing 3 Breba there. And I'm seeing 3 Breba there. And I think there's, on the 3rd scaffold, there's 1 over there on the 3rd scaffold. So pretty good Breba production for a small amount of growth. This tree is Bill's Communa. And I grew it out in a single stem whip. And it's setting quite a few suckers. It's got 5 suckers down there. So this is a good candidate to become a bush if it turns out that it holds these Brebas and it's a reliable, prolific Breba tree. At this point, we don't know. So it's just, let's celebrate the fact that it made it through its first winter without any tip death. Gorgeous day today. Spectacular. All right, this is one I'm not sure I'm going to keep in ground. Let's see what the date of this is. So this is Algerina Blanca. It was grown in 2022 by my buddy Eric Lofton, and it's a Montserrat Pons fig. I don't see any Breba on it, and I think it might be too late for in-ground here. Not sure. I was hoping to see a bunch of Breba on that, but that is not the case. Oh yeah, now this one I'm excited about. This is Angelito, and it's a tree that was started in 2022, and there's a couple Breba, there's 1, there's 5, I think. And my buddy Eric Durchie says that these Brebas are wonderful on Angelito. So this is an experiment. You know, and it's, when you put a tree in ground here in the Pacific Northwest, and you see some Breba on it, you can't get too excited until you've tested it for a while. Because a lot of times you'll see Breba on trees, and you might see a few one year and it might hold, and then it never holds again. And you'll see a bunch that are produced and they'll just kind of like shrink and disappear. So you have to wait, you have to put your time in with Breba. And when I started out, I was looking for early main crop and Breba varieties for the Willamette Valley in particular, and in the Pacific Northwest in general. And I didn't put in Italian honey, aka Latarula, because I knew that worked. And I was looking for newer varieties that people hadn't tried. Well, I've kind of backtracked a little bit on that, and I've got a little Italian honey that my buddy Josiah grew out for me. I'll grow it another year in 7-gallon, and I will put it in ground. Not being as such a strict person as I was in the beginning. All right, I see some Breba right there. I'm not sure what this tree is. You can tell it's a new one for me. Oh, this is Gris de Saint-Jean. And this is one that Brian Melton said has a really great Breba crop. So we will see. It's got a couple on it. No tip death, no damage of any of these trees through their first winter, which is wonderful. We had a really mild winter this year, which contributes, but I grow my trees out and I try to wait until they're lignified before I put them in ground. Makes a big difference. I don't put little trees in ground. I used to do that in the beginning. I've stopped doing it. This is Italian 376. And boy, these Breba are great. And I see Breba. Young tree, only a couple on there. I can see probably 5 or 6. And this one is supposed to have a prolific crop. We will see. Young tree, but no tip death. Here's a tree that's a beast. I don't understand what's going on with this tree. Absolutely no tip death. Huge tree. It's grown the best after planting in ground of any tree that I've ever grown. It's called Beet Ramon. It's from Montserrat Ponds. I started it in 2022, and hard to tell if that's Breba. Oh, there's a Breba over there. There's one right there, but they're at that stage where they're difficult to tell if that's a Breba or it's just new growth. So I think most of that's new growth. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Beet Ramon from Montserrat Ponds. This is a tree that I did a video on a short while ago. It had died back totally to the ground, and all this growth you see is growth that happened last year in 2024. It's created a bunch of suckers. I've got, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 suckers that I've left. I cut off the tips, which died. This is one that I had put hay on to protect it. It's called Lampera preta. It's a San Pedro. And I actually like the fact that it's doing that bushing. I like that on a San Pedro. We're going up the hill. No tip death on this one. This one's actually trying to break bud a little bit, which is nice. It's nice. Don't see any serious Breba, maybe one. We need to wait a little longer to make sure they're Breba. This is Blava Flor from Montserrat Ponds as well, started in 2022. It went in ground last year and absolutely no tip death. But you see, I did grow this tree out a bit. And we had a mild winter. Those two things together, good combination. Up the hill, and we come to Roja from Montserrat Ponds. This is a good Breba producer. You can see quite a few Breba buds right there, and quite a few right there. So this one, I've had the Breba on. This one's delicious. Oh, I see something down at the base that I don't like. A little bit of cracking at the base, so let's hope this one suckers this year and I'll turn it into a bush. Up the hill again. You're gonna hear a little wind noise. The wind was just dead when I started the video. And coming up the hill. Okay, this is De Therese Esplet of 3 crops. It has a Breba crop, it has a relatively early main crop, and it has a second crop if you have a long enough season. We don't have a long enough season for the third crop. Did I say second? It has a second main crop, which would be the third crop. We don't have a long enough season for that. So Breba, 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 Breba at each node right through there. So this was a tree. It was grown, it was probably down half the size last year. And I had it in 7-gallon, and I grew it at my other house. And I got it up to about here, and I pinched it, and it formed these 3 scaffolds. This is the one scaffold I was a little bit afraid of because it's a little bit green, but it made it right through the winter, no problems. So that's what I like to do with my trees. I like to get them to grow up in a pot a little bit, then pinch them, form the scaffolds, and put them in ground generally the next spring. This one I put in ground at the end of the summer, and worked perfectly. So I did that with some of my pots last year. It's kind of the first time I've ever done that, and I sure like the results. I'll go through and show you all the trees I did that with, and so far I'm really happy with the results. Okay, what do I see here? I see some Breba, not a ton. This is Fico Seco. This was grown by my buddy Eric Lofton, started in 2022. This is a Mario fig. Breba. Breba. No tip death. Good looking little tree. This one I'm excited about. I'm really excited about this tree. This is green Minchurinska. And I see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 little suckers. I'll be taking some of the small ones out. No tip death whatsoever. Every one of them breaking bud right now. That's exciting. And Breba. Breba here. Right there. And oh, each branch has a couple at least. So that's encouraging. I think this could be a great tree. Green Minchurinska has a relatively early crop in comparison to most Adriatics. Some people say it's not an Adriatic. I'm really not sure. This is Sangue Dolce. It's a Mount Etna, and it means sweet blood. And hey, I see a little tip problem right there on that one and over there. So I had a couple little tiny sections that died back. I'll get in here with the pruning snips. No Breba. I don't see any Breba on it. It's not a problem. It's an Etna. You get a Breba every now and then, but it's not prolific and it's not reliable. It's a one-off thing, which is wonderful when you get them because they taste delicious here. But it's not why you put them in the ground. You're trying to get main crop, which is early/mid-season, which generally means you're going to be getting a lot of your figs in October when the weather isn't great for the Etnas. This is a new one called Susarea. It's from Montserrat Ponds. It is supposed to have a Breba, and it's supposed to be relatively early, and no tip death. This one was one that I did the same thing with. I grew it out in a 7-gallon pot at my house, brought it down here, and planted it at the end of the summer, and didn't miss a beat. Sure glad we had a mild winter. Made things better. This is one that I'm not sure I should have put in ground. This is Turca from Ponds. It has a little sucker there, and I don't think those are Breba. I think those are just leaves that are popping out. But this might be Breba with leaves popping out. I don't think this is a Breba producer, and I don't really think it's early enough to put in ground here. I think I've made a mistake putting this one in ground. Live and learn. This is another one here that has me extremely excited. This is Bill's Nero. So my buddy Bill, who's in Missouri, found this in a big box store. And he said, Chris, this is a wonderful Breba tree. You've got to try it. So he sent me out a little tree. And oh my gosh. I've never seen this many Breba on a small tree. Now, Josiah up in Salem and Eric Lofton, who lives outside of Salem, both think this could be Olympian. So I've only ever had a couple Olympians that were tissue cultures, and I ended up culling both of them. So maybe this is my Olympian. If it is, I'm impressed with the amount of Breba. I got to try a couple last year. I wasn't impressed with the taste. So we'll see how that goes. That's going to take some time, but boy, that's an encouraging thing. Okay, this is another really exciting tree. This is from Montserrat Ponds. It's called Dell's Armatans. And it is known to have a Breba or two. We don't know if it's prolific, but I can see a couple Breba in there on that little tree. This one went in the ground in the latter part of the summer as well. Fingers crossed. I've got it strategically located next to Tia Pena, which is another late Ponds fig that potentially could have great Breba as well. Oh, this is a California seedling that we think might have Breba, but this year it's not going to. Boy, that one branch, this one looks kind of funky. Yeah, that one branch, it's almost a tan color. I don't know what's going on there. I'm not really certain. Actually, I made a mistake. This is the one that's the seedling, and it's supposed to have a good Breba crop. Let's go back up and see what that other one is again. Too many figs. And first time through, you don't have them all memorized. Oh, I think this might be RDB. Yeah, it's RDB from Josiah. He grew this out in 2024, and I did the same thing. It was in a 7-gallon pot. I grew it out on the deck, got some size to it, put it in late summer, and let's look at the tips. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Didn't miss a beat. First wintering ground. Yay. This seedling here, it's got some issues. Not really sure what's going on with that. I do apologize for the wind, but it's, you know, I get out here and it's, unless I come out in the morning and it's all cloudy, if I come out in the afternoon and it's sunny, it would pretty much gonna get some wind. All right, this one here is Vertolino, and I think I see a couple of Breba. So far, it hasn't been the most impressive growing tree. We're gonna come on down. Let's see, I'm looking for Breba. Oh boy, I see a little tip death on this one. Look at that, right there. But it's just, that's it. Nope, there's two. There's one on the other side that has a little bit of tip death. So this one's been in ground for a couple winters, so that's a little disappointing. This is Vincenzo. I don't see any Breba. Maybe they just haven't developed yet. So far, I've been underwhelmed with Vincenzo. This is Bec de Perdue. It's a Montserrat Ponds fig. And boy, it's got some nice looking Breba on it. And I wasn't sure if this was going to even make Breba. So this is one I was telling you about in one of my last videos that has all that cracking. I'm going to get down my hands and knees. Has that cracking at the base. It looks terrible. I've seen this happen before, and it's the tree is going to die. It has a nice sucker that's really beautiful, nice lignification. It didn't have any dieback. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up above that area that's all nasty, and I'm gonna put a pot in there. I'm gonna girdle the tree, and I'm gonna try to create an air layer because I would like to save this tree, especially if it turns into a Breba producer. If you can't tell from my voice, I absolutely love my orchard. I love the peace that I get when I'm out here. This is Iranian Candy. This was the second one that I put the hay on that had a lot of tip death, and this is all growth from last year. I've had terrible luck with this fig, terrible luck with it. And the figs themselves have tasted terrible. But my tree has never been healthy. I'm trying to, hopefully with rejuvenation pruning, I have it come back a little bit better. This is my LSU Tiger. Every year, absolutely loaded with Breba. Never holds them. So that's my experience with LSU Tiger. Remember, if you have a tree that puts on Breba and you get a few, and they hold, that may happen one year and not happen the next. Reliable, prolific Breba producers. That's what I'm trying to discover. Which ones that aren't the typical varieties in the Pacific Northwest, such as Desert King, Latarula, Italian Honey. I mean, those are two of the ones that are grown probably the most. I'm looking for new stuff, right? That's why I never grew Italian Honey. I made a mistake. I should have put it in. I've got 6 acres. I could have afford to put it in. Now this is really exciting. This is Italian 258. I've had some Breba off of it in the pot. My goodness gracious, they're delicious. So this one has only been in ground for 2 winters. So I started this for my mother tree at cutting in 2021. That is encouraging. Man, I hope that one works out. And this, I believe this is Granthams. Yeah, Granthams Royal. Eric Lofton again. Starts a lot of my trees. This is loaded with Brebas. We're going to see this year if it's the same as Bifero Zeus. Another one that's been grown for Breba for a while, and people up in the Seattle area have been reporting about it, and in British Columbia. And to all my brothers and sisters up there, thank you. I'm glad I'm growing it. This may be the most exciting tree in my orchard for me right now. This is Tia Pena, and I've never had a fig off of it. It's a very, very late main crop, but it is supposed to have a Breba that's phenomenal. Look at this. Look at this. I'm getting some. I so desperately want to try that. So I'm looking at like every little section, and I'm seeing like 2 or 3 on every little section. That's encouraging. Have you ever heard anyone get so excited about Breba? You got to live in the Willamette Valley where they ripen in July and August and sometimes into early September when it's bone dry. And our temperatures are like 50s in the evenings and 90s in the daytime, and our humidity's around 25–30%. And you get these figs that are incredible. So Breba here is something else. I know people down it around the country. That's because you don't live here. All right, this one is, I think this is my mother tree of crows. I believe so. Let me double check. Yes, this is my mother tree of crows, which is an Etna. And you're seeing, you know, there's a Breba. There's a Breba. You know, and excuse me if I don't get excited. It's an Etna. It's going to have Breba, and you're going to maybe get a few. I'm looking for prolific. This is improved Celeste, put in ground the late part of the summer, and it was put in for main crop. It's a very, very early main crop, and I was sleeping on this one. I'm glad I finally put it in. I know Mike Kincaid up there in Washington State has ripened this in his orchard, totally unprotected, and he thinks great things of it. So I'm excited. Once again, if it ripens in September, that's an awesome time to ripen. Okay, I see a little tip death on this. See right up in there? One little branch. This is my white Madeira #1, and I see Breba on it. I have yet to get a Breba off of this tree, and this is an older tree. Looking for my tag. I don't see my tag. There it is. There's my tag. Okay, this was, oh yeah, 2018. It's an old tree. Sometimes they take a long time to show their true colors, right? I see Breba. I see Breba. Maybe I get to taste it this year. That's one of the fun things about experimenting, doing experiments in ground. All right, this is my second crows, and it's the baby of that mother tree over my shoulder. And I see 0 tip death, and which is wonderful. And I see a few Breba. Once again, Etna, not really super excited. Will it hold them? Will I get a couple? Maybe, maybe, maybe. That's not why they're put in ground. They have a great main crop here. This is another one. This is, let me see what this is. Yeah, this is a BGM, Black Greek Marius, another Etna. I don't see any Breba on that one. This is a tree that's kind of another experiment. It's Ischia Black, USDA. And this last year, it put out a couple of suckers that are really nicely lignified. 2 big ones and 2 small ones. I'm gonna let all of those grow up, because ideally I want this to become a bush, because I'm growing it for potential Breba. Problem is, I don't see any Breba on it this year at all. I've had Breba on it when it was in a pot. Fantastic. I had one Breba on it when I first put it in ground, and it was the best Breba I have ever had. So it's a variety that grows slowly, battles a lot of fig mosaic virus. So you just may not get a great growth every year for next year's Breba crop. It's an experiment. I tell people to hold off. Let me figure out if it's worth putting in ground before you put it in ground. This is a Col de Dama Blanca Negra. Haven't had much luck with it. It's for main crop. So far, I haven't had much luck with that tree. Oh, the beautiful cherry over there. Once again, I do apologize for the wind. I may end up getting an external microphone here. I'm not very tech savvy. This is Corky's Honey Delight, which is very, very similar to Desert King. And I do see some really small Breba happening on it. They're not that big. And this is the one that I absolutely love. This is by Pharaoh Zeus. I haven't been cutting it much, and people were asking for cuttings, and I just didn't want to cut it much. I wanted to have as many Breba as possible. I see some, but not a lot. Maybe they just haven't popped yet. Sometimes the Breba come on really early and you see them, and sometimes they're much later. It's kind of a crapshoot. Okay, this is Long Diud, another good Breba tree. And I don't see many Breba. I said there's one maybe. Yeah, there's one, but yeah, maybe this is one that pops them later. Now this is a little bit of a later variety for Breba, so that could be the case. This is my Desert King, and there are a few grafts on it this year. And I see quite a few Breba on it. It always gives you lots of Breba. It's, I think, the best choice for any tree in ground in the Willamette Valley and in the Pacific Northwest in general. It's going to give you, a prolific, reliable Breba crop. It's a San Pedro, so you could get the Maine. I got a few Maine last year without the wasp, and boy, they were nothing to write home about. Okay, this is Brown Sugar Crunch. I see a Breba down there. It's not a Breba tree. It's an early enough main crop tree that it works in ground here. I've had a couple Breba off. I thought they're wonderful. Just nothing to get too excited about. And we're going to go up the hill to Campaniere. Last year I had a ton of Breba on this. They all dropped. This year, I'm looking around. Yeah, got quite a few. I've had one Breba off it in the years that I've had it, and it wasn't ripened properly. It was still very good. Yeah, so this one I have had since 2019. Wonderful main crop. Starts ripening for me right about the beginning of September. Nikita's Gift Persimmon. Boy, I had a nice crop last year. The turkeys enjoyed them all. So that's about it. Super, super excited this year. I mean, I think it's going to be a wonderful year. So if you're planting in ground, you're new to, to Breba, you got to be patient. You can't, if you get Breba a few years, you don't want to be you don't want to be spouting too much information about reliable Breba producer until you've had it for a few years, and you'll know. You got to be patient. If there's one crop when you're growing figs that you have to be patient with, it's the Breba crop. older your trees are, the better you are. I've found that generally when I start a cutting of a San Pedro or just a tree that is known for Breba, I generally give them about 5 years from when I started to have a feeling for what's going on. Even more time is better, because then you'll know if it's really prolific. Gonna be a good year. Gosh, this video has gone on forever. I'm over a half an hour. Oh, geez Louise. Thank you so much for bearing with me and sticking around this long. My mouth runneth over today. No editing on this, so I've made a few mistakes. That's that darn human condition. So thanks for coming along. If you stayed the whole journey with me today, I've enjoyed your company. And looking forward to giving you lots of updates this year. I've got a lot of cool things going on. We'll see which of these trees really hold Breba, which ones have tasty Breba, and we'll see which ones show me main crop. And we'll just continue to grow trees here in the Willamette Valley, Zone 8B. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Always appreciate a sub, always appreciate a like, and if you share this, especially to people in cooler climates, I would appreciate it as well. Okay, take care. Have a great year.